D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished the 9th episode of Picard, and let me just say right now, what a piece of shit. Oh my gosh, this is the worst episode of this entire season, and I am so dumbfounded how this got out of the writing room. Like, it was bad. Oh my goodness. Like, there were, like, the last episode I kind of, like, got behind some of the concepts they were trying to come up with. And this one, I'm just like, what is going on? Like, is anybody thinking about anything? I'm not even a hardcore star. Like, I'm not, like, a super fan. I think in any fandom, there's levels. And I am at, like, your basic fan level. And I can tell you right now, this was just not Star Trek. I mean, it was so bad. It was bad. So, and I'll get into more of that in a little bit, but let's just dive right into this episode. So the penultimate episode does away with the traditional flashback to pick up right where we left off from the last episode, as Soji pilots the La Sirena through a warp hole thingy, whatever it was called, to beat the Romulan fleet to the Synth homeworld, a planet internally referred to as Coppelius. Now, before they can proceed forward, though, they're ambushed by a tailing Narek, but both vessels are blindsided by a number of last-minute visitors. First, the Borg cube, reactivated and piloted by 7 of 9. Second is Coppelius' defense system, but which, real quick, I just want to say, like, the spaceship fight between Narek and the La Sirena was okay, but it wasn't that great. And, like, I just, like, that's one thing also that this show is lacking, is these spaceship battles. I was just like, I wanted more action in space, and they're just not giving it to us at all. And what they gave us this episode was just nonsense. I mean, it was like, I was like putting a Band-Aid on a wound. It just didn't help that much. So anyways, as I was saying, the second is the Coppelius defense system, a series of giant orchids that engulf everyone and send them crashing down to the planet. Now, this was just ridiculous in my eyes. I mean, like, it kind of felt old-timey Star Trek, but at the same time, I'm just like, why? I mean, can you not land on this planet? Were they not capable of doing so? Did they need these giant orchids? It's so weird. And they don't explain anything. They don't explain anything, ever. They never explain everything. So the hard landing not only knocks out the La Sirena systems, but also Picard himself. Now, his fatal medical condition is finally revealed to the rest of the crew, as he casually tells them about the brain abnormality that will eventually take his life. But there's a bigger fish to fry, as within the same breath, he directs the crew to set off on foot for a nearby station. First, though, comes a detour to the artifact, aka the Borg cube. Despite the harsh crash how it looked and everything, it seemed that the remaining XBs, along with 7 and Elnor, which I have no idea why he's in this show, are alive as well. As Elnor gleefully hugs Picard, 7 informs him that she tracked the La Sirena's location when she connected to the Borg cube. Their goal is to now get the systems back up and running and tend to the wounded, which you couldn't really tell if there were any wounded on that Borg cube and everything. It was so crazy. And then at Picard's urging, Elnor stays behind, even if that means saying goodbye to his father figure for perhaps the final time. Which I have to tell you right now, like I just said before, I don't know why Elnor was in this show. He literally did nothing, killed a couple of people, but other than that, he wasn't needed in this show. Like, he literally was not needed. If you took him out, the show would be just fine without him. And now the crew arrives at the settlement, coined Synthville by Rafi, to find pairs of gold-skinned twins partaking in their daily activities amidst a modern-looking community. Soji is finally home, greeted by her name by one of the androids, Arcadia. Picard is also a person of interest as Data's former captain, as well as grievous lines on his face. That part I didn't understand. Like, they were like, the girl was talking about, I don't know, the lines on his face. I was just like, all right, he's old, we get it. Data is certainly a presence on Coppelius, quite literally in this case. Brent Spinner takes a surprising return to Picard as yet another member of the Sung family, Dr. Noonin Sung's son, Alton, seemingly the only human on the planet. Sung listens to Soji's story, cursing Bruce Maddox posthumously for sending their creators on such a risky mission. Their meeting, though, is interpreted by a familiar face. With long hair and gold skin, Isia Barones, is that how you say her name? I don't know how you say her name. Anyways, it doesn't even matter. Plays her third android of the season in Sutra, the twin of Jaina, who perished on Rios's ship 9 years ago. Now this was fine. I don't know why she had to have gold skin and the other ones don't. It's just so, they don't explain anything. I did like her hair long and straight like it was. I don't have a problem with her hair with the other ones, but I do like the long straight. I don't like the gold skin. It just looks like it's been painted on. I think Data had a different, better look than she does. Sutra approaches Soji's situation optimistically, seeing this as opportunity to get some answers. Wouldn't we all love answers by now? Okay, so her hypothesis for the thingy that the artifact from the civilization allegedly destroyed by AI that has been a cornerstone of the Zhat Vash, was actually not meant for the Romulans. Their grief and insanity came from the fact that the message wasn't meant for organic minds. It was meant for synthetic ones. With this logic, she puts her Vulcan studies to the test, mind melding with Girardi. Which, now this part I didn't get at all. Data never mind melded with anybody or even showed any signs. How can you be a telepath when you're a robot? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm not even a huge Star Trek fan, and I could tell you that right off the bat. If you're a robot, you're not a telepath. That's how it works. So the audience is seemingly seeing the admonition through a synthetic mind now, as the message from the admonition is much clearer upon viewing, and it's in chronological order. Now, the warning is actually not coming from humanoids, but synthetics, an alliance of them that resides outside of space and time. The message talks about organic life creating androids, eventually destroying them from fear of becoming a threat. Now, this alliance is waiting for a signal from the recipients to bring about their arrival and protection, and as they put it, your evolution will be their extinction. And I just thought this was so stupid. I can't get behind this show and some of the things they're trying to tell us. With that discovery, the crew breaks up to explore Coppelius. Now, Girardi gets to sit down with Sung, who chastises her for killing Maddox, which... now, those feelings, however, do not stop him from offering her to stay on the planet to continue Maddox's work. So I'm like, it's just so stupid. I'm not even going to talk about it, particularly in the field of mind transfer. Now, this, I thought, now I'm not, like I said, I'm not too versed in Star Trek, but I guess this has happened before, this mind transfer, so I guess that makes sense and everything. I'm pretty sure what they'll do is they'll just transfer Picard's mind into a new Picard body and everything, because there's always twins. I don't understand that either. Anyways, now she makes this known to Rios, who caringly caresses her in a manner that implies that their one-night stand may be turning into something more. Now, he heads back to the La Serena along with Rafi, who gets emotional as she and Picard admit their care for each other. The retired admiral, meanwhile, is still attempting to contact Starfleet to recruit them against the Romulan invasion to no avail, which I go, why didn't you just go to Deep Space 12 then if you needed that fleet? And why didn't you contact them before you set off for Androidville? I don't understand. It's a lot of bad writing. So let's get back into this. So to Picard's chagrin, at least one Romulan has already made landfall on the planet, and that is Narek, who is discovered by the Synths and thrown into a makeshift prison where Soji confronts him. He renews his love for her despite his attempt on her life on the artifact, aka the Borg cube, and she promptly rebukes him, saying, "What a sad and twisted thing you are. You disgust me, Narek, but not as much as I disgust myself for pitying you." But Narek turns Soji's attention back to the matter at hand, warning his people are on their way to rain fire and kill every living thing on this planet. Which I thought that was a good comeback. I was like, oh, snap, he got you there, Soji. You can pity him all you want, because in 12 hours you're going to be dead, hooker face. Anyways, so to help combat Narek's people, Soji tries to convince Sutra for a mass exodus of the Synths. Though the two look the same, they do not approach this situation similarly. As Sutra is insistent, there is not a solution that doesn't end in multiple deaths. Now, the predicament has Soji fighting in Picard about the logic of sacrifice and how killing someone is made out of fear of that being the only choice. Meanwhile, Sutra approaches Narek in private. Although she's initially compelled to kill him, she tells him she needs his services, freeing him from his cell and killing Arcania's twin and framing him. And I thought this was sad, because Arcania, even though she's not exactly like the brightest bulb in the pack, I thought she was sweet and everything, and then just to stab her in the eye with that glass bird, I thought that was, I was kind of sad about that. Narek's escape serves as the perfect rallying cry for Sutra in this episode's final scene. Speaking to the other synths, she uses it to drop a bucket of the horde of organics come to murder them. She and Sung have worked together to decode subspace relays in the amontion, setting up a beacon to contact the Federation of Synthetics to provide backup. With their support, she feels that they can have the support to take on the Romulans and prevent eradication. This news understandably shocks Picard, and he counters this with his own speech, trying to unite his audience around an escape plan and promising he would speak on their behalf. Unfortunately, his history betrays him, as Sung points out that he previously did not receive support from the Federation. Even Picard's own crew turns on him. Fearful for her home planet, Soji tells him this isn't the Romulan rescue. He can't be your means of redemption. We're too busy trying to survive. Girardi also pledges her loyalty to the Synths, saying that this is a culmination of everything she's worked for. All alone, Picard is placed under house arrest, escorted away from the group. And then the final scene is you see Commander O on one of the Romulan warbirds, and their fleet is headed towards the planet in hyperspace. Now, I have to say, I think that the only way to, like I said, this episode sucks. It sucks. It's so bad. It's badly written. The acting is not, it's like okay, but it's not that bad, good. I mean, and then it's just bad. But what I have to say is, they can turn this around. One thing they can do is that, oh gosh, what is his name? The Sung guy is not actually Alton. He's actually Lore, which is Data's brother. Because I did find out today that this has happened before with the synthetics where they age. And I'm like, okay, I like that. If they have him age and he's Lore, but he's done all of this to bring about the synthetics taking over, then I'm pro that. If they do anything that brings back an old character or an old anything to take over this, I'm going to be fine. I'd also be fine if Q shows up and is all like, hey guys, tested you, you passed and everything. I would be okay with that. But this show is not going to be it's a good thing that this last episode is next week and we can finally be done with this season, because this show just is not good. It's not good, and this episode wasn't good, and I do not understand how anybody can like this show. I have a friend that likes this show, and I ask him all the time, like he loved this episode. I'm like, why? And he's like, oh, it just was so good. I'm like, but why? More importantly, why? I don't get it. I do not understand. And I'm trying really hard to, because I really wanted to love this show, but I can't love it because it's not good. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad, bad, bad. I don't know what else to say except for just to rant and complain. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part, if there was any? Just leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next Star Trek review. You guys have a good day. Bye.